tonight's show. First of all, it's one of my favorite new shows. I watched it earlier today and I'm like, wow, what did I miss this week? And we are privileged enough to have one of the stars of Hit the Floor here on TKIF for the very first time. Please welcome McKinley Freeman.
What's going on, man? It's a pleasure to be on, man. Appreciate you having me.
McKinley, first of all, the thing is with me, I'm very honest. If I don't really love a show, I'm like, oh, it's all right. But I have to say, this is, first of all, what's going on with VH1? It's like the new BET, but with good programming.
You know what, man? I committed VH1 and Viacom, man. I think they're really they committed themselves to making this project at quality first and as rich and as full as possible. And I'm hoping that I'm pretty confident that the cast and myself and all the producers and the directors we worked really hard to hopefully pull together a good show. And we hope, on the end of the day, I just pray that people like it, man. So we'll see.
I think you guys.
But initial. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man. I tell you what, you say, when you read the description, you might be like, eh. I tell you what, man, I was like, okay, this is cool. I booked this job. But the first table read, man, when we table read the episode that that premiered on Monday, after it was over, I just kind of sat back like, what? Hold on a second, man. This could be kind of special. You know what I mean? And it's weird, Sometimes you have those moments or you have those thoughts, and they're fleeting. But literally, like every time I drove to work and got to set or got to, the advance to the next scripts that we're going to be working on or whatever. There was just this feeling on the inside that was like, I got to do my part because we have the opportunity to maybe, create a really special show. So we'll see, man.
I mean,
we'll
all the elements of a hit show. First of all, it's really geared toward a young audience. And, a lot of people love those dancing shows and things like that and the mean girl aspect to it. First of all, just for people that have not seen Hit the Floor on VH1, can you tell them a quick synopsis of what the show is all about?
Sure, absolutely. Hit the Floor kind of follows the ins and outs of a professional dance team, and they're associated with a professional basketball team and their management, and it kind of follows the ins and outs of that, kind of the underbelly of that whole world. And it explores, as the season progresses, you'll see that we get deeper into relationships, and the characters are multifaceted. The writers and the producers did an amazing job of, in my opinion, creating a really compelling storyline. And it's like, if you thought the cliffhanger at the end of the first episode was kind of came out of nowhere, like you have no idea what's coming next. And it's kind of cool for me to kind of have a couple of steps back and know it's coming and just be thinking like, people have no clue what's about to happen. You know what I mean? So it's exciting.
I mean, you're no stranger to television and being an actor. I mean, let's just read down the list of things that you've been on. First of all, CSI, ER, one of my favorite shows, Samantha Who. And this new show that first of all, can you tell us a little bit? We're going to jump back into Hit the Floor, but I've been waiting for this show to come out from Mark Cherry, Devious Maids.
Yeah, first of all, Mark Cherry is a genius when it comes to, story and those kinds of things, evidenced by the work he did with Desperate Housewives. But Devious Maids kind of follows, a group of maids and they, I believe that Beverly Hills is kind of the high-end area, and it kind of follows the ins and outs of that. Of course, there's mystery and all these other things. But the strange thing about just the way life works is that in the midst of pilot season last year, I booked Devious Maids and I shot that, and then I booked Hit the Floor. So, but going into the season, I was really hoping that the two would be able I would be able to work on both. But unfortunately, I was only able to work the pilot of Devious Maids. So beyond that, I'm not too certain. I know, again, Mark and the whole team over there really smart and do a really good job of telling stories, and I can't help but be looking forward and making sure I have my DVR set. So. So it was one of those, kind of fork in the road things, and I kind of had to, the decision was made for me to kind of focus more on Hit the Floor just because of scheduling. So
yeah, I think either way you have a hit on your hands because I wasn't sure about the show. I really wasn't because I heard about it and I was like, oh God, what is this? And then I watched it and I was truly impressed. I was like, oh, this is actually interesting. I will be back to watch.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I'm from Illinois, man, so I got my boys back there, and it's like, man, I was watching your show, and my girl was into it, and I was into it. I was like, man, that says a lot, man. Who knows for the reasons? I mean, there's plenty of beautiful reasons why to watch the show because I think the cast. I mean, again, everybody's like, it's quite a blessing to be a part of, man. So, like I said, I really looking down the road, I'm really excited to see have the opportunity for folks to see what we've worked on, because I think they're going to enjoy it.
Data from Switzerland in our chat room. He said the guy that you play seems like a creep. How would you describe your character in Hit the Floor?
Well, man, if I've come across as a creep, maybe I'm doing part of my job, doing my job right. 'Cause somebody's got a pretty strong opinion about that. But I think when it comes to those kinds of things, I think it's a lot of just a matter of perspective. I mean, from an outside looking in, he could be a creep, he could be conceited, arrogant, but from a character point of view, he's just being who he is. So it's not a judgment as so much as it is just a way of life for him. And I think as the season progresses, it's like anything else, man. You see people and how they live their lives and stuff, but until you really have a conversation and get to know them, you don't quite understand the context of who they are. And I think that's the really cool thing about, having a whole season to kind of get to know the characters and get involved in the story, is that you get a peek into what really defines that person. So, yeah, I think, a lot of people, again, at the most basic level, he is a guy that's trying to holler at somebody else's girlfriend, and by definition, I guess that does make him a creep. But hopefully, yeah, a little bit. I guess your boy in the chat room has that absolutely correct. But as time goes on, I think it's going to be a situation where, one week you might like him, one week you might not, and I think if that's the case, then I've done my job. You know what I mean?
I think it's too early to judge your character. That's why I haven't judged it yet. I was kind of like, you were giving me some creepish behavior, but I was like, okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You kind of put a little bit of extra emphasis into the word creep, man. So you might be siding on with my man on the chat line, but I'm gonna let that one slide, man. I'm gonna let that one slide, man. It's all good.
I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. If you guys just tuned in to TKIF and Campus Friday, we're live with McKinley Freeman from the hit show on VH1, Hit the Floor. First of all, McKinley, with a show like this, and I said, it feels like VH1 has become the new BET. It really is an all-star cast of African Americans, with Kimberly Elise and some newcomers. What was your thoughts in taking this project on?
Well, my thought of taking the project on, again, is from my perspective, is an opportunity to really create something out of nothing. Because at the end of the day, some of the jobs you book earlier in your career, when you book them, you have a semblance of who they want you to be. Like, oh, you're a cop, you're a detective, you're this guy, you're that guy. So they have an idea of exactly how they want you to be. Mm-hmm. Whereas in this situation, they give me a script and say, go create something. So it's really as an artist, an opportunity to be like, okay, let's just see what I come up with. And as far as the cast, I mean, like you said, Kimberly Elise, Dean Cain, Charlotte Ross, Logan Browning, Kat Bayless, Taylor Page, Rob Riley, Jonathan McDaniel, the list goes on and on, Don Stark. I mean, folks that have been, serious about their craft for a while, and we just come together and hopefully make it a good show. And I think one of the really cool that James LaRosa, the executive producer, did was this show isn't quote unquote like an ethnic specific show. It's not a black show or a white show. It's just a show. Mm-hmm. And I think the power of the power of the story and how compelling they make the overlaps and some of the things that are going to happen in the season is enough for it to stand on its own. And I think that says a lot, man. So that's really what I look forward to the most, was reading these stories and really myself getting drawn into them. We get the script in advance, and I'm like texting Logan and Taylor like, "Are you serious?" You know what I mean? Like we're excited about it, So I can only imagine and look forward to people's response to it, because it was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's been a great opportunity.
Every week we have a question of the night, and the reason why I brought up, the show was primarily starring African Americans was because Miguel, the singer, had a Twitter rant this week, and he referred to black people as being very judgmental. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with that? What's your perspective on his Twitter rant?
And when you said I didn't get who the person was, I'm sorry.
Miguel, the singer.
Well, I think the great thing about life is that everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? So Miguel, who his life has brought him up a specific way, and that's influenced and informed his point of view, and he's entitled to that. Mm-hmm. But I do think that at the end of the day, it's about the content. You you can be judgmental or whatever, but when you see The Color Purple, if you don't cry, if you don't have tears in your eyes at the end, it does, that's more of a human concern than it is a color concern, if that makes any sense. Or Schindler's List at the end when, he finally catches up and saves all these people's lives. It's not about whether those people are white or black. It's a human thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like, in terms of being judgmental, like that's neither here nor there. I think the more important thing is to make a connection that means something. So whether that be through music or poetry or art or painting, or whether it's, through, a drama like Hit the Floor, where we, perhaps go ins and outs and relates to people on a very human level. That's the most important thing. I mean, I just think personally that there's so many other things to be worried about than a million other people's own opinions. If you worry about everybody's opinions, you won't ever get anything done. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. McKinley, first of all, Hit the Floor. As I said before, I'm going to be back to watch it, but let everybody know when it comes on VH1.
Oh, absolutely. Hit the Floor comes on Monday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 Central, and then I believe 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific Time. So listen, man, I'm telling you, if you enjoy the pilot of Hit the Floor, you're gonna absolutely love this season. You know what? If you don't like Hit the Floor, I'll do something crazy at the end of the season finale. I don't know what it is. Like, I'll figure something out.
Well, so far I'm really enjoying it. And I'm really hard to please. So I'm really excited about the new season, and we're going to try and get a bunch of the other characters to come through here on TKIF. But before we let you go, I want people to get more familiar with you. Because you are playing this sort. I'm not going to say the creep. I'm going to say the creep. But you're playing one of the cool kids. You know what I mean? One of the cool guys. The elite basketball player. Almost like it almost has the game feel. The show. Except the focus is more on the ladies and the dance aspect. But what's your feeling on playing this role of being a sex symbol now? Because that's exactly what you are. You're playing this very I'm the captain of the team. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. Well, for one, it's kind of weird, man. I don't know if you're explaining my character, if you're asking me how to date, man. So I don't know how to address the first part. But no, but as far as being, who knows about, like sex symbols and all that. Like that's for somebody else to decide. When I go to work every day, I wasn't thinking about, what could I do to be whatever that might be. But to me, the most important thing is, to me, what's sexy is someone that's committed to doing things, and I really just try to commit myself to being as true to this opportunity and this character as possible. You know what I mean? So it is fun. Like you do get to be the cool kid. You do get to be the millionaire on the team, and things seem to be, the world seems to be your oyster. And so that's fun. And then the byproduct of that in real life is perhaps might afford me the opportunities to be in other, perhaps movies or whatever the case may be. And you just cross that bridge when you get to it. But I think, by focusing on the things that are important, there's going to be, derivatives that come from that are just, byproducts of marketing and those kinds of things. But it's something that I embrace. But the most important thing for me, man, is that, no matter how many times I come on with you, which I'm more than happy to do, and if I can help, you get any of the other casts on the radio, I would love to do that. Just let me know how I can do that. Definitely. But no matter how many interviews and all this other stuff or whatever the case may be, however many people get to enjoy the show, like when I go home, I still have to fix leaf blowers. I still have to mow the lawn. I still have to go to the custard cut to get my grandmother some ice cream. I still got to, you know what I mean? I still got to play with my nephews. Like all that stuff is cool and everything, man. But I'm very very humbled and blessed by being brought up the way I was to really just appreciate the small things, you know what I mean? Because there's no guarantee that I was going to book this job or whatever the case may be, so I'm thankful for it. But even if these tremendous opportunities didn't come forward, I'd still have joy and still be able to wake up and be happy with the way my life is,
Most definitely. And McKinley, we're so happy that you dropped by the show, and we definitely think you have a hit on your hands. So we hope that you'll remember us once the show is really big.
Man, listen, bro, I'll hop on here anytime. And like I said, if there's anything I can do to help, get anyone on that's a part of the cast or, if you have any ideas on how we might be able to do that, we can be in touch and we can figure out a way to make that work. Absolutely.
Most definitely. McKinley Freeman from the new VH1 show, Hit the Floor. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. We'll be posting all the information about the show and everything on our Facebook, facebook.com/KEMPIRE Radio. Thank you, McKinley, for being here on the show, and we wish you so much success.
All right, sure, appreciate it, man. Have a good one, bro.
You too. All right, everybody, we're going to jump into some more music. It's, of course, TKIF, Thank Hemp, It's Friday. Here is McKay Michelle with her new song, VSOP. You're listening to TKIF.